Sanibona, ngaphambi singene kwivideo namuhla, ngithi angithathe lethuba ngibonge i-support nothando enikhombise lona lingaphezu kokucabanga kwethu. Siyacela niqhubeke nisupporte njalo ngokubuka amavideo ethu, ungakhohlwa ukukhomenta, ushare, ulike. Siyafisa ukuzwa umbono wakho. Sicela ke singene kwivideo namuhla.
In South Africa, I counted on my own 116 different taxes that we pay. We are the most overly taxed country. We're probably the most overly taxed developing nation in the world. The kinds of taxes that we pay are unjust, are inhumane. They are beyond what apartheid did to us.
Ngithi ngiyascrolla lapha ku TikTok, ngisithela phe kwale video. Engenze ngacabanga ukuthi i-apartheid ayimbi kakhulu. Futhi akufanelanga akekho umuntu odeserve ukuphila phansi kwesimo leso kuthiwa kwakuphila phansi kwaso. Kodwa uma ulalela ukuthi le eyayiyimbi yayingabathekisi abantu kangaka bese le elungile efanele wonke umuntu yona etax abantu kakhulu. Uma uzwa kuthiwa iSouth Africa inama taxes ay116 angwazi mina. Kodwa ngithe uma ngisizwa lesihloko ngase ngibheka around sona. Ngathothi hayi mani kunama video athanda ukuba maningana achaza ngalesimo lesi ne-tax le. Ngicela uzwe la.
Did you know that South Africa is one of the highest taxed countries in the entire world? And this could get even worse with the proposed VAT increase. However, there's a lot of misunderstanding around this VAT increase, which I'll get to in a second. But first, let's talk about how South Africa is ranked as the 12th heaviest taxed country in the entire world. This ranking is based on the tax to GDP ratio, which is a pretty reliable formula that economists use when assessing the tax across countries. Essentially, it represents how highly a country's citizens are taxed in relation to the size of the economy in that country. South Africa's tax revenue is currently 26% of the country's GDP, which is high. This puts us at 12th place in the whole world. Essentially, what this means is we are paying a lot of tax but getting poor results in the economy. And now there's a proposal to raise VAT to 16%. But remember, this is only a proposal. It has to get passed through Parliament. However, currently ANC do not have the majority in Parliament, so this will only become a reality if another party votes in favor of a VAT increase.
Le video qeda kuyibona yango March. Uma ulalela kukhulunywa kanje, kukwenza ucabanga ukuthi hey, ukuba iANC beyine majority ngabe iVAT u17%. Ngoba iproposal yabo yokuqala yango February yayithi iVAT izokhupha ngo2% ibe u17%. iDA yangahambelana nalokho. Kwaphoqa ukuthi iANC ayibuyele emumva. Yahlehla ibudget bazokhumbula abakhumbulayo ukuthi yahlehla. Uthe mase sekuziba ibudget 2.0 wafika uminister Godongwane wathi izokhuphuka ngo0.5% kulonyaka, izekhuphuka ngo0.5% lonyaka ozakushuthi ngoFebruary ngo2026 izobe seyu16%. Yilapho iDA yavota against ibudget, kodwa kunama political parties njengoBosa, Action SA namanye ayevote in favor. Then iDA kanye neEFF yathatha lelo daba yalusenkantolo. Inkantolo yafika yasichitha ke leso sigathi ayibeka eceleni leyo fiscal framework yayibeka eceleni kwafuna ngoba kwangalandelwanga umthetho. Uminister uGodongwane wazokwenza ibudget 3.0. Manje uyacabanga ukuthi ukuba iANC ine majority ngabe iVAT u17%, njengoba kuthiwa iSouth Africa iyona iranka number 12 umhlaba wonke kumazwe okubhadala kakhulu kuyi tax. Apartheid angiyazi, kodwa lokhu kwenza ukuthi ngiconclude ngokuthi yayiyimbi apartheid ngokucindezela abantu abamnyama benganikwa amathuba, kodwa yayingekho yimbi kuzo zonke indawo. Why mase sekuphethe uhulumeni wentando iningi bese abantu kuba nalento le? Ngoba mongaqhathanisa ngesikhathi apartheid namanje itax ayengekho nje. Iyasibona isizathu esenza ukuthi abantu abadala mabehleli bethi wayengcono uhulumeni wamabhunu ngoba abantwana bethu babesebenza kwakungahlushekwa kanje. Ngiyizwa abantu abadala besho njalo. Ngidideke ngoba phela mina ngizwa apartheid kuthiwa yinto eyayiyimbi, angiyazi mina. Kodwa mawuzwa abantu abadala bathi wayengcono amabhunu ngoba sasisebenza, engcono amabhunu ngoba inhlupheko yayingekho nje. Ngicela uzwe la.
I've been reading up and bumped into this list above. Exactly, we are being taxed into poverty and getting absolutely nothing in return. South Africa is one of the highest taxed countries in the world. In the world, we are being taxed like a first world country. Now, at that time, we are living in third world conditions and we are still a developing country. It does not make sense. Here's the thing, we pay carbon taxes, but ESCOM is still giving us load shedding, or now called load reduction, and still polluting. We pay VAT on everything, yet it goes to government and corruption, and it doesn't get to the people at the bottom, which is us who have paid for the money. We pay for high income taxes, yet hospitals don't have bed, schools are not built, clinics don't have medication. The money goes where? Where? We even pay sin taxes, sugar taxes, environmental levies, yet nothing improves in our lives. Ngoba kuthiwa kuhlekwa noma kushoniwe. Because this is a death of our country. Where's the money really going? It's not fixing our water, it's not fixing our municipalities, it's not fixing unemployment, it's not building industries, it's not strengthening the land, but we are being taxed more and more and receiving less and less. Something's got to give. At some point, we need to hold people accountable. We need to hold people accountable. On the 15th and 16th of December, we are hosting a picket outside South African Reserve Bank. We can't be accepting these things. This is more taxes, more levies, more charges, more fees, and every year with less services, more corruption, and more suffering for an ordinary South African. We can't live like this. We are being forced into poverty through these taxes. Essay, as again, we'll be hosting a national picket, and we need to raise these issues because you can't raise taxes and levies and hidden taxes and all of those things, but still is hlupheke kangaka. No, guys, no.
Lona bumbona usiso Amani Dube ilo wayehlanganisa i-national shutdown yangomhla ka-17 kuNovember laba asha khona mayelana nalolu daba lwe-rand manipulation. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi lento ayisho ibalulekile and ngiyafisa intsha yakithi isisukumele lezi zinto. Nansi into efuneka isukunyelwe yintsha yakithi ngoba osopolitiki abakwenza okufuneka bakwenze. Lento eshuwo usiso Amani Dube bekufuneka isupportwe wonke umuntu. Ngoba ikhuluma izinto ezibhekene nazo. Ayikho into ebuhlungu njengokuthi usebenze kube nekhona overtime emsebenzini uthi ungene overtime ngoba wenza ukuthi imali yakhe ithi xaxa ifika i-tax ithathe yonke le mali oyisebenzile ku-overtime. Ugcina ubonda kube kunokungcono boba usebenzanga ngenxa yokuthi kunalento ekuthiwa i-tax bracket kwathi bayibiza ngani angiyeke futhi. Kodwa nje ngisho ukuthi sake sakhuluma ngayo lento ngaphambilini, ngayo nje ngaphambilini, abalandela le channel bayazi, abayilandile futhi kusuka ngoMarch ngesikhathi kusenale inkinga. EFF yazi iphethuba lokusifundisa izinto eziningi ngoba ithi ulimo olukhulunywa National Treasure abantu aba-ordinary abalwazi, ngakho yasifundisa nathi futhi sayidlulisa lawo ma-video lawo. Ngeshwa-ke awatrendi ngoba kusuke ngesiwona umgosi, kodwa lento esho Amani Dube la idinga ukusupportwa, idinga thina abantu base-South Africa. Ngizokucaphunela ivideo ngasisi uPrince Mthombeni Mbaduma, ngicela uzwe la.
What happens if a country runs out of fuel during a national crisis? Who really controls the fuel that fuels vehicles, hospitals, police services, industry, and national defense? Let's talk about it. Hi guys, my name is Prince Mthombeni Umaduma, a founder of Africa for Nuclear. In the last video, we explained why the state-owned Island View Terminal, or IVT, in Durban has become the center of a national debate about fuel storage, long-term leases, and economic transformation. In this video, we focus on fuel security, national safety, and the key timelines behind this issue. Economic transformation companies and the Department of Defense, BATI, AMA oil companies, have controlled the Island View Terminal for about 66 years. They say during this time, there were moments where fuel supply was not fully guaranteed. They also say when the economic transformation companies tried to use the uncommitted space at IVT, they were often delayed or blocked. Their concern is simple. When fuel supply is under pressure, oil companies first protect their own businesses, and this makes it very difficult for new entrants and current industry players to meet contractual and operational requirements for their current and future clients. They further argue that while these oil measures highlight their BEE and triple BEE achievements, these frameworks do not necessarily align with the broader economic transformation objectives of the democratic states, particularly in relations to the ownership, operational control, and market access. Right now, more than 50 economic transformation companies say they were excluded from the new 25-year lease agreements. Out of these, 23 are fuel wholesalers who are already operating in the market. To fully understand this issue, it's important to look at the history of the Island View Terminal. In 1959, the first lease agreements were signed for a period of 25 years, with immovable assets scheduled to transfer back to the state in 1984. Then, Oil Majors exercised their single renewal option for a further 25 years, moving the termination date to October 2009, again with a termination clause for assets transfer to the state. Since 2009, IVT operations have continued under a series of short-term extensions, resulting in roughly 66 years of continuous control by Oil Majors. Oil Majors have lost refining capacity in South Africa, except for few inland refineries such as Sasol, Secunda, Sasolburg, Natref, operated by Sasol and Prex, and Astron Energy in the Western Cape. This has resulted in them being importers of finished product, with an added advantage of extended leases by government. So economic transformation companies say they should be given a fair opportunity to also play a meaningful role in securing South Africa's fuel supply. The recent Section 79 directive now extends this control to approximately 91 years. Wow. Critics argue that this uninterrupted cycle of control is inconsistent with South Africa's long-term objectives for competition, equity, and economic transformation. This means oil companies have controlled IVT for 66 years. With the new Section 79 directive, this control may now reach 91 years. Many people believe this is too long for one group to control a state-owned strategic asset. Some have asked Transnet and Transnet National Ports Authority why the major IVT structures were not transferred back to the state as originally planned, and whether this was connected to financial considerations. Security of supply isn't a preserve for Oil Majors, but a state responsibility. Some industry and legal experts argue that IVT should not be viewed purely as a commercial logistic asset. From this perspective, IVT is regarded as a national security installation linked to Section 198 of the Constitution, which places national security under the authority and responsibility of the state. The concern raised is that long-term exclusive private operational control of such an asset without meaningful state dominance may introduce constitution, fiscal, and defense readiness risks. Industry participants have further argued that in a national emergency or conflict situation, the state may not have full control over fuel supply, raising renewed questions about whether the IVT should be classified and managed as a true national key point. Economic transformation companies proposed a revised structure as a solution. Their position is that the state should retain 15 to 26% allocation. The economic transformation companies should receive 25% allocation with an obligation to prioritize fuel supply for the Department of Defense and key strategic state entities. And then Oil Majors and their partners would retain a 49% balance. They argue that this structure would align operational control with national security, transformation, and competition objectives simultaneously. They further state that such approach should be written directly into the Section 79 directive itself, rather than being deferred through future access mechanisms. The new and decisive timeline now shapes the urgency of this dispute. The Terminal Operator Agreements, or TOAs, are scheduled for execution by 30 March 2026. These agreements are currently in the process of being finalized. Economic transformation companies argue that once these TOAs are signed, the contractual positions of the Oil Majors will be effectively locked in, making future amendments extremely difficult in both legal and operational terms. For this reason, they argue that any amendment to the Section 79 directive should occur before the TOAs are finalized. Without such amendment, they contend that both the state and economic transformation companies risk remaining tenants within a national strategic asset. In summary, this video has addressed the historical lease control timelines, the security of supply concerns, the Constitution and national security consideration, the proposed allocation model, and the critical March 2026 TOA deadline. The outcome of this process will play a defining role in how South Africa balances fuel security, transformation, and long-term and national strategic control. Thank you so much for watching.
Ngiyafisa kubantu bonke abaphila eSouth Africa ikakhulukazi intsha nekenge sakhulayo okokuqala ayingahambeli kude nezepolitiki, okwesibili asizijwayeze ukufunda. Yabona masingazijwayeza ukufunda nokufuna information ngayo yonke into eyenzekayo, izonke izinto esizenzakayo soba ne-idea ukuthi kwenzewani nini ngasikhathi sini. Yabona lento ekhulunywa uMaduma la awukazi wayibona e-TV, kwi-TV yakho awukazi wayibona, kodwa inqumo lezi ezinga-affecta iSouth Africa yonke, lezi nqumo ezizothathwa ofuna ngoMarch kubese kufikiwe kulezo nqumo ukuthi bazoyi-amend noma ngeke baze bayi-amend. Ikhona i-portfolio committee transport laba efuneka sibuke khona sibuke khona ukuthi bathini. Nami ngomunye wabantu abebengayinakile le information, kodwa ngiyayibona ukuthi hey ibalekile le information, sekufuneka manje siqale siyibheke. Kodwa kuyisifiso sami ukuthi sengathi njengabantu abasha abasakhula kule South Africa yethu ekhululekileyo eholwa upresident wethu our Lord and Savior Cyril Ramaphosa, singaziphi ithuba lokufunda ukuze sizoba nama meaningful conversation, ukuze izinto izinqumo ezithathwa ama political parties noma yilabo asuke besiphethe sizazi ukuthi zisho ukuthini. Siyambonga futhi umuntu onjengoMaduma noSisu Amani Dube ngokwenza le content lapho besifundisa khona, bezichaza lezi zinto ngoba ngale kwalokho besingeke sibe nalwazi. So siyafisa ukubona iSouth Africa yethu ithuthuka, sifisa ukubona iSouth Africa yethu iphuma enhluphekweni nabantu bephuma enhluphekweni. So njengobuzwa kukhulunywa ukuthi mayiqale kanjani isivumelwano kwakuyisiphi, kodwa kuze kube namhlanje asikaze senzeka leso sivumelwano ukuthi ibe control estate le ndawo ade ekhuluma ngayo uMaduma. Kumanje uMinister Barbara Chris ufuna futhi ukubanika i-contract 25 years. Angathi sikhona i-contract just ukuthi khala ukuthi akube khona lama amendments lawo okukhulunywa ngawo, kodwa yona i-contract isikhona futhi uMinister uvumile ukuthi uzobanikeza i-contract 25 years. Yingakho ngithi isifiso sami ukuthi njengabantu abasha nabantu abasakhula nawo bonke abantu abaphila eSouth Africa asike sizihluphe ngolwazi, asike sizihluphe ngokufuna i-information ezosiza thina ezosisaphambili ukuze sazi kwenzakalani ezweni lethu, ngoba lokho akuzukusiza thina kuphela, kuzosiza ngisho inengane zethu sesingasekho thina emhlabeni. Yingakho nje ngithathe leli thuba ngathi angiyifake le video kaMaduma ngoba lento asifundisa yona besingayazi, kodwa manje ngenxa yakhe sesiyayazi. Angiyibambe le video, ngicela ukuze ukuphawula kwakho comment section ngalokho mnana wasidibana kwi video elandelayo.